All right, y'all, we're back with defender Dan Lovitz. We're going to go ahead and just start with questions. Let's start with Ben Wright.
Yeah, Dan, you guys, I think this is the first win that you've ever had in New England. And I think we've just seen kind of an improved form away from home. What do you think has been the difference this year in being able to pick up these, not just these types of wins, but these types of wins away from Nashville?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wasn't aware of that. I'm not entirely shocked. I know it hasn't been like a prolific place for us historically, but I think the key to it, honestly, is just being consistent and being honest with ourselves when we say we're going to focus on being ourselves every game. Not trying to be a chameleon and morph into whatever environment we're going to play and who we're going to play, just trying to do us better. I think we've made strides in being consistent and improving that and really fine tuning some details over the break and the schedule, and then being able to come here and know that this is a team that we didn't necessarily have the truest showing of ourselves to open the season in Geodis, and that was probably a few points we felt like we left on the table. So I think everyone across the board was just focused on making sure this one we got all three. Certainly wasn't pretty, and we didn't start either half particularly well, but the resilience to battle back and just pound the rock and know that what we were trying to accomplish was going to give them problems was pretty good from the group, and so we're pretty happy with that.
And then I asked Tani a similar question and would love to get your take from kind of a different area on the field. You guys have been able to close out games in just kind of different ways than we've seen before. Maybe less reactive and kind of frustrating the opponent by just controlling the ball. How important is that to be able to have that tool in your locker?
It's amazing. It takes a lot of stress off of everybody. The best defense is offense. And of course, we're trying to be cognizant and practical about game script and what part of the game we're in and knowing how to navigate that. But I think when we have the ball, they don't have it. I think that's something that we could really fold in and get better at. Honestly, I know DNA in years past, it's been sort of our MO to sit back and withstand a lot of pressure. And we were kind of good at that for a stretch of time, and then we weren't good at it. And I think this evolution of being a little bit more of killers with the ball, I think when teams are trying to attack and chase a game home or away, I think we have to be smelling blood in the water and know that there is an opportunity for more goals and to really put the nail in the coffin so that these 1-goal, 2-goal leads that we're trying so hard to defend can maybe turn to 3-goal leads like that. And that means being a little bit more brave on the ball. I know Hani talks about it all the time. Everybody's still wanting the ball, not just getting one-track mind with defending and trying to keep the result, but looking for opportunities to really kill the game.
All right, we'll go to Jacob Shames.
Yeah, Dan, this is the fourth time this season you've played an opponent for the second time, and you've won all 4 of those matches. I guess what goes into that preparation for playing a team a second time around, and I guess how will that come into play Saturday against DC United?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's just another one very similar to these games. These two in particular are ones where we had home results that we didn't really feel entirely happy with. Wasn't our best performance, and just a lot there to be learned. I think each game, especially within conference, you're guaranteed 2 matches against those teams. You obviously are going to look to improve on your past performance. That's going to look a little different for each opponent, obviously, but and as well as if it's home or away the second time. But knowing that these 2 are away, I think it makes it easier just for us to focus on ourselves, and this is a great first step. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but certainly build on things collectively, regardless of the opponent, as we continue to get through the season, but also specifically to the opponent, things that we can look at, even though it was so long ago with this instance with New England opening, game of the season. A lot has happened since then, and we're certainly not the same team, and we're focused on proving that tonight. And then, DC, not so much of a gap in time, but certainly we feel like we've made strides in a lot of different areas, and that's something that we're excited to go and compete and show them this version of ourselves in their stadium. So nothing really changes, just trying to do us better. I know you've heard that a lot, but it is the truth.
And I guess what has been your perspective of Sam Surridge's recent hot streak? And I guess what what have you seen, him doing in just maybe positioning and finishing and, you know, getting in areas to score goals?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I played with a lot of forwards in my career, and you know, the age-old adage is it's kind of once you get the first goal, the rest start to come a lot more easily. And that obviously is true for Sam, but for me, he's just somebody that works incredibly hard every single day, and he's never put his head down or hung his head. He's always really focused on getting better every single day and getting sharper. And obviously, once the goals start coming, he's a really dangerous guy to play against, and it's something that we've found out throughout his time here. And having him be so prolific is so important to free up space for other guys, but he's such a killer in the most important moments, and that's what you want from your number 9, and he's a pleasure to play with, and he puts in so much work on the other side of the ball. We're looking every chance we can to find him.
All right, we'll go to Nick.
Yeah, Dan, you know, you talk about goals coming easy for strikers like Sam Surge, but as for yourself, when it comes to creating, you know, play and just passing the ball in transition, does it start to come a little easier for you guys now that you're almost throughout the season?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a collective effort, obviously, but to have us firing on all cylinders, I think we're working towards that. I don't think this is a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. I think there's a lot of guys that are incredibly dangerous going forward that can contribute more, and we're trying to find nuances within each game, and as the season progresses, as to how we can exploit that and showcase that a little bit more consistently. But we're a tough team to play against moving forward. I think being able to sustain the attacks a little bit more, keep teams pinned in their half to create better goal scoring chances, I think is something that we're focused on. It becomes easier and a lot more important when the tempo slows down in these summer games. So I think, you know, our first goal is a great example of that. First wave doesn't exactly work, then Johnny gets pulled out and cuts back in on his left and floats the ball to the back post. Those are great looks, and ones that we can probably do a little bit better job of making more constant or continuously throughout the game. But definitely some great moments out there. I think there's still a lot more to be had, and that's something we'll continue to work on and look forward to, especially with a game not so far away in DC.
And when it comes to Andy Nahar, you know, being an MLS All-Star, just for you, being a teammate, what have you learned from him? If there have been some traits out of his game that you've maybe applied to yours?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have front row seats because I'm on the other side of the field, but it feels like it. It's a pretty special thing to watch and to be a part of. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a fullback operate the way he has this year, especially. I mean, there's certainly things that he's talented with on the ball. He's able to wiggle out of really tight situations. He always has a dribble first mentality. He can get out and almost beat the first guy almost 100% of the time. And he is able to anticipate the ball moving forward into the attack very, very well. Our right side is very hard to defend, and he's a huge part of that. You know, my job when it relates to Andy is just make sure that we're threatening down the left equally and to, you know, a great enough effect that they have to shift, in which opens up more space for him when we switch the ball. So we got to get, you know, like twin turbines down the sidelines on each side. That would be ideal. But right now he's doing a hell of a job, and I'm going to, you know, do my best to get up to his level and continue to contribute offensively.
All right, and we'll go to Blair.
Hey, Dan, if I did my math right, this is your 12th season as a pro, and it seems like you're having one of your best seasons, at least in Nashville colors, let's say. I know there isn't one reason why this is happening, but if you can just give me some of the factors that you think contributed to the level of performance you're doing out there.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the special sauce is, but I can just tell you that I love this team. I love playing for this team. I feel like I have a club, a coaching staff, and a locker room that believes in me. And when you cross off those few boxes, I think the rest comes relatively naturally. For me, it's just about continuing to get better every year. You know, the goals are great, obviously, and it's definitely a new dynamic to my game that is, you know, been fun to find out about. I've always usually been the one taking the corner kicks or the last man back when Hani was taking it, what have you. But it's fun to be in the mix, being able to affect the scoreline. That's something I take a lot of pride in. It's been really fun to grow into that role specifically. But just continuing to fine tune my game, feeling great physically, being able to make an impact on the game, both sides of the ball. And honestly, just having fun playing with the guys next to me. I've been able to be incredibly lucky and have continuity and play next to guys like Jack Mayer and Alex Camille, Walker, Joe Willis. When you have familiar faces and you have relationships like that, the rest comes relatively naturally, like I said. So I'm just benefiting from the collective. I'm glad that my name can show up on the score sheet from time to time, but